Hey everyone, I'm Kayla. In this video, I'm going to show you about 19 different pieces of jewelry. Most of these are basic, standard pieces of jewelry that we would use when we pierce our clients. A lot of these pieces come in different types of material. They can be in a surgical stainless steel, a titanium, bioplast or PTFE, or especially with the plugs and tunnels, we can have a variety of options such as acrylic, wood, and silicone. What I'm showing you here is just a little sample of what options you might have for different pieces of jewelry. Let's get started. Here are the captive bead rings. Captive bead rings are made up of two different parts. You have the ball. There's two different types of ball, and the hoop. Piercers like to use the acronym CBR. Captive bead rings are also referred to as pressure balls. Oops. The problem with captives is that the balls like to roll away. On this bead you can see here there's a hole in the actual ball, and there you go. This one has a hole that goes all the way through, and this one here just has, oh no! This one has dimples. See a dimple there? And there's two dimples, one on each side, just like this ball. So the hoop fits right into those little dimples, and that's how it is kept in place. The reason some people like to refer them as pressure balls is because the hoop adds pressure to each side of the dimples on the ball, and that keeps it in place. Because the bead is removable, you can also change the bead to different types. This one here is a red opal bead, and you can also use ones that have gems in them. This one has a teal gem. These pieces can be used on a variety of different piercings, in the earlobes, teeth, cartilage, things like that. This one here would be used on large gauge piercings and stretched piercings. This bead is called a spring loaded bead because instead of dimples it has two little balls that protrude, and they are protruding with the little spring behind it, and the hoop you can see has little dimples in it. So it's kind of the opposite of what the smaller hoops would do, but because this one is larger, it's harder to manipulate. You would just press these two little balls in. Easier said than done. This one is also called a snap bead because you can hear the pressure balls snap into place. And those are the captive bead rings. One thing I'd like to mention is that because some of the balls are so tiny, they are very easy to lose, and it can be very difficult for a person to put them on themselves. With this one, I highly recommend having a friend or even visit a body piercer so that they can help you get it in with no problem, because these can be very difficult. This one is a fixed bead ring. We call it a fixed bead ring, or FBR, because the bead is fixed to one end of the hoop. Similar to the captive bead ring, but this is just one piece. You can see the hole inside the bead there is made, so when we bend this, it fits right into the hole. These are pretty useful, and they're not easily lost like the captive beads because they are fixed. The only downside to this one is that you will not find them in large gauges like this, because with this one we have to bend the hoop and having something this large is pretty much impossible to bend because it's such a thick piece of steel. Here are the seamless rings. As you can see, there is a small gap right here and right there on these hoops. They are very similar to the fixed beads, except there is no bead. So these ones are the same. You have to bend them to open them, just like that. And then you bend them to close. And when you do close them, they have to come to a perfect meet in the middle. There should be no gap, such as this one here. It has to be a perfect meet, so that the piercing does not, or any type of skin does not grow through this area if it does rotate in the piercing. These are very nice for many different piercings. A lot of people like them for the nostril piercings. That sometimes they are hard to get perfect. There we go. That one's pretty perfect. They definitely come in a variety of sizes and colors, but you will not be able to find them in larger sizes, such as this, because it has to be bent. Such a large piece of steel cannot be bent. So usually you'll find them in smaller gauges. This one here is a segment ring. It looks very similar to the seamless ring. I believe the segment ring came before the seamless. Here you can see two little notches here and here. It might be a little difficult to see. But this small piece from here to here comes out, similar to the captive bead ring. This is what it looks like apart in two pieces. You can see that there are two little notches, both on these ends, here and here. Those notches sit into the hoop. There's a little hole on each side. This is extremely difficult to get in, and this segment piece is very tiny. I personally have worn this piece for years, and I enjoy it because it stays where it is. It never comes out, but when I do have to take it out, it is a pain in the butt to get back in. Taking this piece in and out can be very difficult. If you have a piece similar to this, my best recommendation is to visit your piercer so that they can help you. Here are some circular barbells. This consists of 3 pieces, 2 threaded balls, and 1 barbell bent in a circular shape. Usually you will find these pieces threaded, which means that the ball screws on and screws off. In more rare cases, you can find threadless jewelry, where the ball pushes in and pulls off. Circular barbells can be found in a variety of sizes, thickness, and color. They are most commonly seen in the septum piercing, but they can be found in pretty much any piercing. Here are a few curved barbells. These consist also of 3 pieces, 2 threaded balls and a curved barbell. In some rare cases, you can find threadless options where the balls push in and pull off. Curved barbells can be found in a variety of shapes, sizes, and color. This small piece would be used in an eyebrow piercing, and this one here is for the navel. Usually in navel jewelry, the bottom ball will be fixed. In this case, this bottom gem is fixed onto the barbell. and only this top ball is removable. Here are a few straight barbells. This type of jewelry also comes in 3 pieces, 2 threaded balls and a straight barbell. In some rare cases you can find threadless jewelry where the ball pushes in and pulls off. This piece is usually found in nipple jewelry. This piece specifically is for an industrial piercing. You can also find it in smaller sizes in ear piercings. This type of jewelry can be found in a variety of lengths, gauge, and color, also in a variety of different material. Here are some labret pieces. These come in 2 pieces, a threaded ball and a flat back post. Sometimes you can find this in 3 pieces, where you have a straight barbell, a threaded disc on one end, and a threaded ball on the other. Most of the time you'll find these threaded, but in some rare cases you can find them threadless, where the ball pushes on and pulls off. These are usually found in lip piercings, but they can also be used in a variety of other types of piercings. Here I have a common size labret backing, which is this one here. And then I also have a mini labret here. The mini labret is very useful for piercing such as the forward helix. This is the surface barbell. It is a straight barbell, usually comes in 3 pieces, 2 threaded balls, and a barbell that is bent with 90-degree angles on each end. These usually come in threaded, and I am unsure if threadless surface bars actually exist. They may be out there. This jewelry is used for the surface tragus and most surface piercings, such as the nape of the neck. Surface barbells come in a variety of lengths. They can also accommodate a variety of threaded accents, such as balls, discs, and gems. Next is an L bar. I don't currently have any L bars, but they are very similar to the surface barbell, where it consists of 3 pieces, 2 threaded balls, and a bar that is bent in a 90-degree angle only on one end. Usually the balls come threaded. I am unsure if threadless L bars exist, but I'm sure they are out there. They are usually used for genital piercings and modified industrial piercings. Here is nostril jewelry. On the left we have a L shape, bent in an L, straight pin, nose bone, and a nostril screw. The L shape and nostril screw are 2 of the more traditional style of nostril studs. Nostril pins can be used to be bent in an L shape or nostril screw shape. Sometimes they come too short to be bent, but if you visit your piercer, they can definitely do this for you. One of my favorite pieces of jewelry for the nostril is the nose bone. It comes with a gem on top and a little ball on the bottom. This can be a little uncomfortable to insert and remove, but usually it stays in pretty well. Today there are more options for the nostril, such as the mini labret. These pieces are usually easier to remove and replace without the help of assistants, whereas a mini labret, on the other hand, might take a little bit more trial and error. Here is a variety of septum retainer. There are 3 main septum retainer shapes. This U shape, similar to a horseshoe but without the threaded ends. This staple shape, and these ohm shapes.
I also have this. This is just for fun. When it comes to septum retainers, black jewelry is the easiest to hide because black doesn't reflect as much light as a silver would. Septum retainers are usually used specifically for flipping up and hiding a septum piercing, so this one here would probably not be the best option. All of these shapes can sit very nicely and comfortably inside the nose. Here are two different types of plugs. One here on the left is a non-flared plug and is usually held on by these O-rings. On the right we have three different types of double flared plugs. They are double flared because they have a larger size on each end and smaller down the middle. Plugs are usually used in the earlobes or other stretched piercings. And you can find plugs in single flare or double flare. Single flare looks like this, where there is one flare on the end and it is a straight tube on the other. Here are some tunnels. Tunnels are referred to earrings that have a hole completely through. This one here, these two, are single flare tunnels. They have a flare on one end and completely straight on the other. They are usually held on by O-rings. On this side we have two different types of double flared tunnels. This one is silicone, can be squished. Most people find it as a comfortable fit in their ear because it is very lightweight and pliable. And here I have double flare wood tunnels. These are also lightweight but should not be worn for extreme lengths of time. Usually these are found in lobes or other piercings that are stretched. Another piece of jewelry is ear weights. When ear weights are coupled with tunnels, they can be used for stretching the ears, but they are definitely beautiful ornaments. I don't personally own any, but here are a couple of examples. Here are a few hinged clickers, but this one is in a continuous shape. The hinge is there and it snaps into place here. This is a continuous shape, and then here is hinged there, clicks into place here, and this is a D shape. Usually these can be found in nipple piercings and septum piercings. They can also be used in a variety of other piercings. These are very easy to remove and insert by oneself. And usually once they are clicked in, if they get snagged, they will not unclick. If it gets snagged, it will not fall out. Here is a pincher. Pinchers are most similar to plugs, but instead of a perfect cut on each side, it is tapered down to a point. Pinchers can be found in a variety of stretched piercings, such as the septum and earlobes. And usually they are held on by O-rings. Last, I'm going to talk about a couple of pieces of jewelry that aren't quite as popular as the previous pieces of jewelry I just mentioned. The first one is a D ring. It's very similar to a captive bead ring. The bead can also be fixed. D rings can also be found seamless or in segment pieces. And usually they are used for nipples. I've seen them used in the lip and in the septum. The last one is stirrups and shields. Usually these are additions to a barbell for nipples, and also some stirrups can be used in septum piercings.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions. And I'll see you next time. Bye.